Day 13 of the trip. We're back here at the Dutch eating place, Homestyle Cooking, here in the Reading Terminal Market. Today's our last full day here in Philly, which, to be quite honest, I'll be glad when you get out of here. But we got a lot to see today. We're going to go to Independence Hall, where they signed the Declaration of Independence, declaring our freedom here in the United States. And as well as see the Liberty Bell again and a couple of other things around Philly. So stay tuned, this will be fun. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you know the guy that flew a kite in a storm and got electrocuted? Benjamin Franklin. Think he's dead? Well, he's not really dead, because there he is. Sorry. We're going into Independence Hall. Independence Hall. Declaration of Independence.
Just slide across both sides. Now this is the room you came here to see today. This is the assembly room at Independence Hall, which is where the Pennsylvania Colonial Assembly met from 1753 on. In April of 1775, April 19th to be exact, after 12 years of British taxes and American protests, and British taxes and American protests, and the Boston Tea Party, the Boston Massacre, and the Intolerable Acts, well, finally war broke out between 13 tiny colonies on the east coast of North America and the world's mega power of the day, Great Britain. Word spread very quickly, and the colonists knew they had better meet to discuss this situation. And so they decided to meet here in the assembly room at the State House in Philadelphia. Whether they wanted to become it or not, they became the first government of the United States of America. They really had no choice. We were at war. To lose the war meant these guys would hang. So first objective, don't lose the war. These guys immediately settled in to figure out what to do about the situation. And one of the first things they did, it was a doozy of a decision. From here, the Massachusetts table, by the way, they sit from the north to the south, okay? John Adams got up and he nominated George Washington, a Virginian who had his militia colonel's uniform on from Virginia. He was nominated to become the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army. There is a doorway behind that screen that leads to a room. It's where Washington actually waited while the debate went on. It didn't take long. Washington was unanimously approved as the commander of the Army. Came out, came here, thanked the delegates, then got on his horse, and well, the rest, as you know, is history. These guys settled down to do what they had to do to run a country that was at war. Okay? And I mean, they had to scramble. Pretty obvious we weren't going to defeat the British without help from other forces. So immediately we got in touch with the French, and the Dutch, and the Spanish, asking them to help us. And they agreed. They didn't like Great Britain very much either. But they reminded us, you know, you guys are brothers. And brothers have fights. Now I see a lot of young people here. Anybody got a brother or sister? Anybody fight with their brother or sister? Don't tell me you don't, because I know you do. Okay? So brothers and sisters, well, they have fights. But what if somebody from the outside, like me, tried to get involved? Well, you'd be against me, wouldn't you, both of you? Well, that's what they said here. You guys make up, we'd have to fight both of you. We're not going to do that. So they told us when we mean business, And so these guys knew they were going to have to declare independence. On the 7th of June, 1776, again from the Virginia table, Richard Henry Lee got up. Now I want to give you some perspective on Richard Henry Lee. He's the uncle of the more famous Robert E. Lee. Okay? He got up and made a motion. He moved that these united colonies are and of right what to be, free and independent states. Congress heard the proposal. They did what Congress always does. They submitted it to a committee. Well, what a committee. Robert Livingston from New York, Roger Sherman from Connecticut, John Adams from Massachusetts, Dr. Benjamin Franklin, who always sat here, and a tall, sandy-haired lawyer from Virginia named Thomas Jefferson, who was the best writer in the colonies. And so he was asked to write the rough draft of a Declaration of Independence. For 17 days in June, he wrote. Brought the document in here on the 28th of June. Congress read it over very carefully. And on the 4th of July, 1776, essentially Thomas Jefferson's Declaration of Independence was approved right here in this room.
Probably going to be the closest to WYSP that I'll get.
To be self-evident that all men are created equal,
that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and among these are
life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
To secure these rights, government are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed.
That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness.
Prudence will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security.
We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these United Colonies are, and of a right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown,
that all political connections between them and the state of Great Britain
ought to be totally dissolved. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Attached to this document are the names of 56 men. Collectively, we refer to them as the Founding Fathers. We are not them.
We couldn't be. We had a war to fight,
Children to raise.
a nation to begin.
An Olmsted Sea Passage. Oh, our stories are in the history books if you look hard enough.
River Air, Philadelphia Whitehall.
And our stories are as much a part of history as that noble declaration.
Henry Bouts Brown, runaway slave. I nailed myself to freedom. They are stories of struggle and triumph, of great sorrow and great joy.
Cyrus Bustle, free African society.
There are not big stories.
Private Joseph Plum Martin, Continental Army. But they are stories that need to be told. We are not all Ben Franklin. People just like you.
Common people whose uncommon stories gave birth to a nation.
And no matter what century we were born in,
We all have one thing in common.
we call America home. And we all help to make history. Hip, huzzah!
Alright guys, I told you that somehow, some way, we would get to see what I was talking about earlier this week, the Geeter Gold Radio Network, 92.1 FM. Now, we're not going to be able to go inside, we're just going to see from the windows. Let's check it out. See what it looks like. This is the Geeter Gold Radio Network. And there's someone on the radio, on the air. It's 2 to 5, or 2 to 4.
Doing it recently?
I started in March of 2008.
Oh, okay, cool.
So,
where are you from?
I'm from Georgia, Warner Robins, Georgia.
What are you doing here?
My dad has some business going on,
So you guys came?
Yeah, mainly to play around and sightsee.
Cool.
And I saw this coming into town, and I was like, I gotta check this out.
I wish you would have met that owner. He's a great dude.
Yeah,
they call him the Geeter with the Heater. Look him up on the internet.
I definitely will. If you want me, do you want me to like leave y'all some information about how to get to my radio show?
Come on.
Yeah, I tell you that. I felt seeing that as like a kid in a candy store.
Aww.
Man.
See, that's him. It's the Geeter with the Heater.
Okay.
Who else? That's him with Al Martino. He just did a movie with, sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
It's alright.
Mickey Rooney.
Oh, really?
Just did a movie with him. That's him there. Mickey Rooney.
Man.
Here's his, you can get all of these on the internet.
Okay.
But that's his name, Jerry Black, the Geeter with the Heater.